Hey guys, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you're all having a great week of training. Today's topic is how to run a 6-minute mile. What do you need to do to run 5:59 or faster? And granted, there are athletes that are trying to run this particular pace for a marathon, but there's also other athletes that are trying to run under the 6-minute mile barrier in and of itself. And you definitely have to have a great amount of anaerobic fitness to be able to run 5:59 or faster. We all come in different packages and we all have different capabilities as athletes, and so there are athletes out there that are trying to get under this barrier. They've been trying for maybe several months or several years, and I certainly know how it feels. The mile is such a highly anaerobic event. It's over so quick that you really have to be on your game mentally as well as physically to run under these particular barriers. You know, whether it's a 6-minute mile or a 5-minute mile, or trying to run under, say, 4:20, regardless of what it is. Pace sustainment is the end game here. It's how well can you handle higher amounts of lactic acid building up in your bloodstream. And as you run faster, your body creates more of that lactic acid buildup in your bloodstream and in your muscles. And it's really the hydrogen ion component of lactic acid that shuts down muscle capability and muscle functioning. So granted, we always talk about focusing on speed work, where you're training at your VO2 max, your maximum oxygen uptake, where you're training at speeds that are so fast you can literally only spend a few seconds to, only a couple minutes really running at these particular efforts. And by doing that, it's going to make the idea of running between 1 minute and 29 seconds to 1 minute and 30 seconds per quarter, 4 times in a row with no rest, feel easier, more in control. And granted, because this is just a mile, it's such a highly anaerobic, quick event, it's going to hurt regardless how well trained you are and how physically fit you are. It's going to hurt. But you definitely want to be able to react. You want to be able to make those pace changes and basically just maintain your race effort on the 3rd lap of your mile. That's where, like I said in past videos, most athletes get the most lax and tired in the 3rd lap. They slow down, or they just try to get through that 3rd lap, because on the 4th lap, it's all adrenaline. It's the last lap, you hear the bell ring, you hear people screaming. So it's very important to be able to sustain and maintain that effort on the most important lap of really all of them. I mean, you have to get out hard in the 1st lap, but you want to be in control. You definitely don't want to take off too fast if you're running a mile, especially on the track. If it's on the roads, it's literally, you really have to even be more cognizant of your pacing and your effort early on, because you can go into oxygen debt very quickly by sprinting out and going out too fast with the rest of the group. But if you're on the track, you have a kind of a better idea of how fast you're going, because you know a general idea of how many meters you are. If you're going through the 200-meter mark, you're at the 200-meter mark. If you're on the roads, it's a little different. So a few things I want you guys to keep in mind if you're trying to break 6 minutes. Focus on quality. Don't worry about the volume you're doing. You don't need to run a high amount of mileage to break a 6-minute mile. There are athletes that could go under a 6-minute mile running 20 miles a week, and then there's other athletes out there that may need to run between 40 and 50 miles a week. But you don't need to be able to be running high volume to run under a 6-minute mile. It's about the quality of your mileage. What are you putting into those miles that counts, and how well are you taking it easy on your easy days, because you need to be able to recover from these hard workouts you're doing. There's no doubt about it. You can't just keep pushing hard all the time and expecting to get great results. I don't think, as far as I have a sub 6-minute mile training plan on RunDreamAchieve.com. So if that's something you're interested in and you want a 4-month block of training, 16 weeks to get ready to get under this barrier. If you want to take out the guesswork of your preparation and you want to know what you need to be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis going into your 1-mile event, I highly recommend investing in yourself. It takes it's definitely very important to have that gauge and to know what you need to be doing. But some of the things that, some of the workouts that we'll be covering in that particular program is you're focusing, again, this is a quick event, so you want to focus on speed. We're not talking about the 10K, we're not talking about the half marathon or the marathon. You need to be working on your overall leg speed. on top of also building your endurance. So getting that long run out to around 10 miles. Okay, you don't, as I talk in other videos, you don't need to run your long runs super fast every single weekend, but you do need to start varying up the paces of your long runs, those paces, every other week. So 1 week, do a somewhat harder effort. So if it's a 20-mile run or a 10-mile run, so 16 kilometers, do a first few kilometers easy, run about 8 kilometers at around 85 to 88% of your maximum heart rate. So that's going to be right around, depending on your age, could be anywhere from 150 to 165 in that range. And then start mixing up the paces. You might want to drop a sub 7 minute mile in the middle of the run, or a sub 6:30 mile in the middle of the run. It's kind of the types of the very paces types of workouts I was doing when I was training for not only the mile but up to the marathon distance as well. Again, focusing on the 400, so 8 to 12 400-meter repetitions earlier on, because you're not as anaerobically fit and you want to gradually build into your speed sessions. Start focusing on getting those 400s in around 1 minute and 36 seconds. And then as you get fitter and your body becomes obviously a lot more accustomed to the anaerobic work you're doing, and your heart doesn't have to work quite as hard, you want to drop that down under 1 minute and 30 seconds per rep, so about 128 to 130 per rep. So again, that's sub 6 minute mile pace. This is the key. You want to train at, near, or far below goal race pace, okay? On top of jogging on recovery days. This is the big piece that most athletes miss because they're so focused on worrying about pace on their easy days and how fast they're running. This isn't all athletes, but just some athletes, and I'm a victim of it myself. I got caught up even on easy days. Easy days are there for a reason. They're meant so you can recover from the hard anaerobic workouts you're doing on the track and on the roads. So take those easy days and jog. Take it easy. Make sure you're hydrating well before and after your workouts. Get plenty of sleep. But you're going to need to jog on those recovery days, because the hard days are going to take everything out of you. The tempo runs, we focus on between 3-mile tempos, between 6 minutes and 55 seconds to 7-minute mile pace earlier on. And then as we get fitter in the latter stages of the training program, we focus more on a 4-mile tempo at around 6 minutes and 40 to 6 minutes and 45 seconds per mile pace. So again, you're training at your anaerobic threshold where the body is starting to build up lactic acid, and you want to extend the amount of time you're training at that particular effort. Now granted, because the mile is so fast, you're going to be running faster than your anaerobic threshold when you're racing in a mile. You're going to be training running more toward your VO2 max, your maximum oxygen uptake. So again, it's 4 laps in 1 minute and 30 seconds or faster to break a 6-minute mile. So it can definitely be done. You have to have the tenacity and the willpower and the patience and a belief in delayed gratification to break a 6-minute mile. If you're, say, like 7 minutes, or maybe around 6:20 right now, obviously the closer you are to 6 minutes, the easier it's going to be for you. It's still going to be a challenge even if you're close, because you know already how fit you need to be to run under a 6-minute mile. So if you're at like 7:15 right now, or maybe 7:02, and you dream about getting to 5:59, you have to visually remind yourself over and over again each day to spend time training mentally as well. So many athletes we're all focused on physical training anaerobically, training aerobically. But the mental training piece of the puzzle is what makes you go from average to great. Okay, so mental training is absolutely essential if you want to break a 6-minute mile, because you're training your subconscious mind to guide you where you are wanting to go. It's not just the physical training. It's a big piece of the puzzle, without question. You need to physically train. So breaking a 6-minute mile definitely takes commitment on the part of the athlete. There's no question about it. You can't just go out and run a sub 6-minute mile, especially if your personal best is maybe like 6:20 or 7 minutes. You don't just go out and run a 5:59 unless you are highly in great physical anaerobic shape and mental shape too, because you have to be mentally tough to be able to sustain that 1 minute and 30 seconds per quarter 4 times in a row with no rest in between. You have to be in it mentally as well. So proper pacing is absolutely key. If you want to run 5:59, do not go out at like 1:20, a minute and 20 seconds through the first 400 meters. Play it safe. Be smart the first few laps. I would recommend going out around 135 to 137 the first lap, and then just start really focusing on making it a 3-lap race and not letting up on that 3rd lap. That is the lap where you want to be most dangerous and most committed toward your goal of breaking 5:59, because that is where, like I said, most athletes let up in that particular part of the race. It's the hardest lap. It's because it's in that middle section of the race, and once you get to the last lap, you hear the bell ring, everybody's screaming, it's the last lap. There's people running either in front of you or trying to make their moves around you. You know, and if you get up in the lead, you have to make that charge. You have to, you know, be willing to be brave and get out of your comfort zone and give it everything you possibly can on that last lap, because that last lap is going to dictate whether you run 5:59 or you run 6:12 or 6:15. You have to make that big challenge. You have to go for it on that last lap. So be thinking about these things as you're preparing for your attempt to go after the sub 6-minute mile. Extend out the length of your long runs. Spend more time on your feet. They don't have to be fast, but you do need to spend, you know, get that long run out to around 10 miles in length, because you're building your endurance up. That's going to make you stronger. Spend time training well below your goal race pace, a 6-minute mile pace. So do 200s. Get out there and get on the track and do 200s when you're really fit, around 40 seconds to 45 seconds per rep. Doing between, you know, start off early around maybe doing 6 to 8 200s, and then as you become more fit, more anaerobically fit, branch that out, get it out to around 12 to 16 200-meter reps on the track, and being able to do that at paces that are close to or just a few seconds under that goal 6-minute mile pace that you're shooting for is going to make you all the more stronger when it comes to that time when you start dropping your volume, you drop your intensity, and you focus on doing that 10-day taper I talk about. Rather than dropping your volume and your intensity 3 weeks out, you start dropping it 10 days out. That way you're continuing to remind your body of what you're wanting it to do up until 10 days out from the race. Then you start dropping your volume, your intensity, and you start resting. That way you get to the race in peak shape, and you're in that position where you're in that flow state where, like I say, the stars align and you've done everything correctly in training, and now is your time to become a sub 6-minute miler. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you have any other questions in regards to the 6-minute mile and trying to get under this particular barrier, or you have another topic or something else that's on your mind that you want me to talk about in my next video, feel free to leave me a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Continue to leave your comments. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Definitely always helps the channel grow. But definitely don't get discouraged. It's a great time. Running 5 anything for the mile means that you are in great anaerobic shape, and you've done your homework and training, and you're in great shape. So I look forward to hearing about your result, and hope this video, as well as if you're shooting for a sub 6-minute mile training plan, definitely go to RunDreamAchieve.com, invest in yourself, take the guesswork out of your training, and let me know how your training is going and how the result went in your race. I look forward to hearing you run your time of 5:50 or maybe 5:45 or faster. So I hope you all have a great week of training, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.